Hello, it's Thursday. I don't know what the date is. Is it the 7th? Is it the 8th? I think it's the 8th. Yes, the 8th, because it's BE Day tomorrow, isn't it? It's the 9th. Yes, hello. So today we're going, hi Tina, lovely to see you, lovely to know you're out there. And we're going to carry on with the trauma reflex. Been doing that all week. Tuesday and Wednesday's class. If you didn't, hello, Tina. if you weren't here yesterday, didn't see yesterday's class, have a look because it's got some seated neck exercises for you to do if you just got a stiff neck sitting down in front of the telly. Well, don't do it in front of the telly, it's not very good. You can't be somatic in front of the telly. So find somewhere quiet and do some neck exercises. It'll take you 10 minutes. So that's on yesterday's, but we're just going to build into the trauma reflex still. So we're thinking diagonally today, we're thinking side of the body, and we're thinking waist. We'll leave the neck alone. We've done a couple of neck things this week, so we're going to leave the neck out. So yes, that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to do the move that I said yesterday that we didn't actually do, which is the back lift. And we're going to build into our diagonal diagonally lengthening the leg out. We did it just with the knee yesterday and the arm slightly opening, but we're going to do with the reach today. So I'll demonstrate that, and then let me just check. Oh, there's a few people on. I'll just do that with the demonstrate that now, and then we'll crack on. So there we go. So we're going to do our arch and curl, usual arch and curl, tilting pelvis. We're going to put our arms, eventually we're going to have our arms over our stomach like we did yesterday, and we're going to go diagonally into a squeeze, and we're going to reach across diagonally. As long as your chest muscles can cope with this, we're going to take the arms down beside us, and if we can, we're just going to open them as far as our chest muscles will let us while we're arching. So this is a bit of a variation. So I'm going to do this. I'll have to move my ponytail, it's not very happy. So this is how we're going to start off. This is going to build up eventually to be a knee lift. So what happens when we do the knee lift is we leave one side out and we reach across the hip and we twist the shoulder in and we bring the foot down, we put the arm down, and as we're about to arch, we take the arm down, we lengthen the leg, and we send the arm out as far as it's happy to go. So you might only get sort of, I'll do it with the other side, you might only get to here. While you're lengthening, or you might get right up into the corner, and if you do, you can slide the shoulder blade down the back as you're arching, and you're arching into the hip. But this is we're going to build up to all of this. This is going to take a while to do this, but it's great because it's going to get everything diagonally. It's going to get waist lengthening. It's going to get diagonal into the bottom, into the shoulder blade, into the chest, and all the diagonal muscles. Okay, so we're just doing everything through this move. Then we're going to do our arms up into the air, arm reaching, so we want to get some movement around the shoulders and under the armpits, and then we're going to twist across, so we're going to reach, come back, reach, come back, and build into the waist. So we're going to get some nice lower back, waist lengthening, shoulder lengthening, upper body, and then we're going to go down to our legs, and we're going to do this, where we take our leg to the side, bring it back, and we'll do that building up into the side of the leg. We'll do it from that side, and then so we feel the bottom muscles. I did a leg workout this morning, so this could be great for me. And then that translates into the waist. Then we're going to go, or we might do that afterwards actually. What we might do is we might go straight into this move, where we do our sideline lift up. I think we might try that before we've done any waist movement to see how much difference it makes to release the lower back and the bottom before we go into those side leg things and the upper back stuff. So if I remember, we'll do this first for once, when we do this later on. And you can change this up a little bit by doing this. You could just squeeze the bottom muscles rather than, or you can have your head down and just lift the elbow. Or you can have the head down, just lift the elbow. Okay, so we'll do our back lift for tight diagonal back muscles, all back muscles. There's a lot of diagonal back muscles. And then we are going to come back onto our backs, and we're going to do our nice lift, one of my faves. So we're going to really get into sort of down, up and down, but trauma reflex. So we're going to do this move. This one where we have one leg, let's do it this way around, one leg down, arm out to the side. No, it's that way, isn't it? God, get it right in a minute. So we're going to do this one where we reach the arm away, twist. We did the human X yesterday, so this kind of plays a bit into that. Side reaching, pushing up into the foot, lifting the pelvis up, sending the knee forward rather than over, and then reaching at the same time, coming down very slowly, releasing the bottom, coming back to land, everything's relaxed. Do the other side, push up. I look down to my shoulder, send the knee forward, push into the foot, we'll lengthen here, but squeeze into the back and the bottom muscles and the leg, and then come down. Okay, so that's what we're doing today, and if we have time we'll do the wash rag, because it's always nice to finish with the wash rag and play into all those things. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. So any questions, just let me know here. Any questions afterwards, if you end up lying on the floor for half an hour. Otherwise you can ask me some questions afterwards. Anything else? What's going on? Do a class tomorrow lunchtime, and it'll probably be a mix of all the other things that I've done this week, so we'll just pick out some of the ones. It'll still be trauma reflex. Yeah, that's it really, I think. I'll just ramble away, can't I? Anything, Tina? Just trying to think if there's anything else that I didn't talk about yesterday to do with the trauma reflex. Yeah, so just remember, trauma reflex, if you're on the opposite side at all and you're pushing down onto your trauma reflex, your good side's working beautifully, but your resting side is your trauma side and you're pushing down onto it. Just be very mindful that you're not causing pain there as well. The minute the good side starts causing pain to the other side, then you make the move smaller on the good side. So if you were doing that last lift that I just did and your right side is being pushed onto and it's your trauma side like mine, then I'd always be mindful of that and not go so high on the opposite side. So think opposites as well as the side you're working on. Okay, I think that's about it really. So I'm going to get rid of my specs and put them over there. And I'm going to lie down and we're going to do a body scan. So, lengthen your legs down. It's very warm in here. I'll be very pink-faced by the end of this, I'm sure. I've had the window shut all day. I might get a visit from a cat like yesterday. And let go, soft, soft, soft. Soften into the floor. Have a look at your sides, side to side. Yesterday we travelled up the outside to the legs. This side we'll take one side again. So I'm going to start on my right side. I'm just going to travel up, kind of spiralling around it, looking at each part as I go up. Spiral, spiral up around the leg, having a look at the lower back, the hip, the pelvis, the abdominal muscles on my right. Looking for any pain, looking for any tightness, and then travelling up lower back, abdomen, waist, rib cage, just looking for any sensations like I can feel in the back of my rib cage on the right. It's a little bit stingy for some reason. I hope you can hear these bird sounds. I'm very loud today. Travel down the other side when you've got to the top. Make sure you check out your arms as well, see what they're doing. Got a fuzzy right arm. Adjust that. Travel down, 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 all the way down, spiral around the legs. Make sure you're taking the inner thighs, the calves. Don't leave the calves, the ankles out. Check out the feet. I want to get some awareness of these areas because we want to look at them later while we're moving. We don't just focus on the moving area, we look at the other areas that are just kind of keeping us stable or just doing a small movement. And we're going to bring the legs up gently, so when you're done the scan, bring your feet up, place them hip width apart and parallel. Adjust yourself if you need to, especially in the neck and the upper back. Might need a little micro bend in the elbows. You might have your hands down, you might have them up, it's up to you. And then breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Watching where anything moves, might be really subtle, you might hardly move at all. You might see where there's some resistance, you might not. You might think everything moves beautifully with your breath. So explore that, breathe a bit deeper into your rib cage. Expand it out to the sides. Breathe up into each shoulder, into the neck. Watch what happens in the back. And then move the breath down the body. By just focusing on expanding a little bit further down each time. If you tilt violently over to one side, just stay like that. Just breathe into each area, see what happens. I've got a good old tilt to my left today, I don't know what's going on there. And then when you're ready, start gently arching your back, tilt the pelvis forward at the front, and then just start building into the arch. Very small movements. Yesterday we did a nice build up, we got into the shoulders quite quickly, and we'll do that again today. So very gently bringing the shoulders in, even if it's your back, if your lower back's hardly moving at all. Just get a feel for the whole back without any pain. If there's pain, then you'll have to just go back to the pelvis. So we want to move quite quickly today into the arch and curl. If this is a bit too much for you, then you might go back and look at one or the other. The earlier, maybe Tuesday's class. If you know you've got quite a bad trauma reflex, you're quite high up in one hip, you limp a lot, you've got neck problems, you've got one-sided neck stuff going on, one-sided arm, sciatica on one side, it doesn't swap about. So I'm just going into my arch, nice and smooth. Already done 2 classes of this and some practices, so my back's feeling great. Lower back, upper back, shoulders at the back, chest's all right in this small movement. So I'm going to explore going into a curl, which you could do as well. Just engaging the abdominal muscles, tilting the pelvis in the opposite way, maybe just taking the shoulders forward a little bit if they want to join in, but make your focus the pelvis, the lower back again. Notice what each side's doing when you get into it a little bit more. If you're just trying to get the movement going, then that's as much as you're going to do. Try and coordinate it with the breath, but if you've moved on and you're okay with this, watch what's happening side to side. Which parts of the pelvis touch down? Is your abdomen okay to lengthen on both sides? What your bottom muscles doing, what your leg muscles doing? What's happening up in the rib cage? So this move might get bigger quite quickly, or it might just be that you're trying to learn how to do it properly. And that's all we're going to focus on. If it becomes quite a big movement, then check out your neck, that you're arch and curling in your neck. You could play into that a bit more. Just make sure you've got a measure of what each shoulder blade, front of the chest on each side, the neck, the jaw, what everything's doing side to side comparatively. Slow it down if you need to, make it bigger if you need to. If the arms roll in and out a little bit, that's up to you, that's fine. Just make it come from the chest, from the pressing down. If If it becomes a really big arch and you want to slide the shoulder blades down a little bit, at the same time, it's like your arms are open, likely your arms will open. Just keep it with the breath. And just make it smooth, it doesn't have to be big, you just have to control it. And if it's still tilting over to one side, that's fine. We're going to get rid of that when we do the more diagonal moves and side stuff. Take your time, there's no rush. We want to keep our nervous system slow, in control, getting the right signals. Try and look at what's happening. If you get distracted, come back when you can and look at different things. Distract yourself by looking at your feet or your hands, top of your head, ears. Some nice connections in the jaw, from the chest to the jaw to the back of the ears. So we're going to do 2 more and then we're going to start building into our diagonal. When you've done your last round, then rest your legs down, let go, soften in. Already my pelvis has changed position, I'm lilting over so much. Couple of breaths doing nothing, and then we bring our legs back up again. So bring them up, back to the same position. We're going to carry on with our arch and curl, but we're going to put our hands on our belly, so on the upper abdomen, or on the rib cage, or on the lower abdomen. Depends how much along you are. I've got a long body, so but not very long arms, so my elbows are by the bottom of my rib cage, my hands are on my belly. I've overlapped them, but I'm going to slide them down to the opposite pelvis as we curl. So we're just going to arch and curl in this position. As we arch, we're going to let the arms kind of drift out from the elbows, upper arm stays on the floor, and then we bring the hands back, we lift them off the floor, we slide them across the belly towards the opposite leg, and then we come back again. They're down on the floor by the time we arch, the arms go out to the side. Now you can do this with your elbows further away from your body if you want to. We're not going to do it with the elbows bent, fingertips by our ears today. We're just doing this in another way, exploring how much it changes everything, the positions we get into. So my elbows are already happy to go wider, so I'm just going to do that. I'm just fanning my hands out so they're stroking across the abdomen, and then they're opening it out as the arms go back on the floor. That's right, my chest feels okay, so I don't need to make that any smaller. I can make it wider if I want to at the chest. My elbows are almost up to 90 degrees, or my arms to the body. And that feels alright. It's probably because of all the stuff that I've been doing this week. There's a little bit of pulling in the chest, so I've got to be mindful of that. I'm not bouncing the arms through the air. Pelvis is just doing what you've been doing all the time. So what we're going to do now is we're going to explore tilting the pelvis off to the left. So we tilt it over on the arch into the left bottom. So we go off slightly. The knees stay where they are. They might try and fall out on the left a little bit. Just try and keep it as upright as you can without over tightening the inner thighs. Upper body still doing what we've just been doing. We haven't changed anything other than tilting the pelvis off to the left. You might find that your right shoulder presses down into the floor a bit more. That's fine. That's what we want it to do eventually. So if you focus on that, great. And then when you feel ready, what you're going to do is start bringing that left knee off of the floor. So we're tilting over to the left in the pelvis, and then we're going to do what we did yesterday, which is to bring the left knee up and the right shoulder will probably come towards it a bit more. Place the foot down by the time you're at neutral, arch into the pelvis again, and just carry on that. If the right shoulder gets more involved, great. It's just going to push back. If it's too distracting to have the left arm involved, you could take it out and just leave it by your side, and then just focus on the right arm, left leg. Tilting. What you can do is start exploring sliding the elbow along the floor, out into the corner of the room as you arch. So we're going to get some lengthening in the side of the body, in the chest muscles, in the upper back. So it's quite a strong move. It's going to get stronger because eventually we're going to lengthen that leg down at the same time. So we're just building into that gently. My arm likes to reach around the side to my calf, outside of my calf. Some of you might explore lifting up. You might even tilt over. If you do, take the shoulder, take the chin to the opposite shoulder. Might be a little bit strong to fully lift up, but you can explore that. You might want to. You might want to take the whole upper body off the floor and come towards that knee, as long as it's not hurting anything. So once you've got a measure of the knee coming up and down and the arm reaching away, then you can explore lengthening the leg down. So this takes some thinking about, some involvement, some care, maybe not caring too much about the breath for a little while till you've worked it all out. But if you can keep going with the breath, great. Breathing in as you're reaching. Still tilting slightly off to that left side as the leg lengthens, so you might find your foot rolls out. It's a bit different to when we put the foot down and then lengthen the leg away when we're doing it not on the diagonal. So notice that your knee might roll out as well. You might not want to come up off the floor with the shoulder while you're exploring what that leg's doing. Just try and keep the other side steady, so the knee just stays where it is on the other side. So I'm really reaching, everything's going, lengthening across the arch. Don't put your foot down, make sure it's at neutral and you don't arch till your foot is down. You might not lengthen your leg away, it might be too much for your front of your pelvis. You explore how far your knee wants to go. You might want to go all the way down to the end of the mat. Halfway might be enough. We're going to do 2 more. Doesn't matter where you've got to, that's enough for your body in this time, wherever you've got to. You don't have to do a full extension of this. Last one, and then let's lengthen everything down, let go, soften into the floor. Notice how that side of your pelvis feels. How that right shoulder feels, how everything else feels. Let go, do nothing, couple of breaths. Slide the knees up. We'll start that whole process again for the right hip and the left shoulder. So in your own time, arch and curling, hands on your belly, tilting, taking the hands across, opening out. You might find your right shoulder opens out a bit more than the left now. Mine did, it was like off. Just trying to do what it just did. You might find that you want to tilt over to the left, so just make sure that you're staying on the vertical. Start with, explore your chest muscles, your shoulders. When you feel ready, then you can start tilting off to the right side. Oh yes, I haven't got a happy right side today. So your right pelvis is tilting off offside, off to the right, on the diagonal as you arch. We're not lengthening anything else, we're not doing anything else at the moment, we're just diagonally reaching, tilting that pelvis off. And then when it feels okay, then you can start bringing the knee up towards the left shoulder. When you feel ready, on the curl, as your pelvis comes past neutral, bringing that knee up, reaching the arm across. I'm going to leave my right arm out now. I'm just going to, it's enough to get the knee going and keep the left arm reaching and watching what's going on. You can't always watch if you've got too many things happening at the same time. And then you start letting things get away, letting pain happen or stretching or anything that's not great for your body. So I'm beginning to reach my arm away at the same time. I might lift up a little bit into this side. Might slide my shoulder down my back as I arch. It feels right. Might lift up. Might not lift up, might move the shoulder, might just reach over and tilt onto my right shoulder a little bit more, don't have to lift up completely. When you feel ready and you've got control of the shoulder and that pelvic tilt, then you can start lengthening the leg down. Investigate it, see if it's okay, see if it's okay to go kind of halfway down first for your hip and your pelvis. You might not lift up the upper body while you're exploring this. Oh, nice clicking knee. Don't let your foot float through the air, drag it along the mat, keep gravity in. Otherwise your abdominal muscles are switched on and we're trying to lengthen them, so not great, is it? You might start lifting up again when you've got the measure of it all. Keep your jaw soft, use your breath. This is where it comes to breathing right down into the abdomen, getting that long breath out. You can do the whole move within that breath then, that round of breathing. Turn your head to look over the left shoulder, it becomes a very big arch. I'm going to do 2 more on this side. And then I'm going to let go, lengthen my legs down, bring my arms back, rest into the floor. So we're going to come over. See, I remembered. We're going to come over. Hello. Oh, there's other people. Good. Coming over. See if you can come over better than me. Come over without lifting up too much. If you're from my classes, you know how to do that. So we're going to have our lying on our fronts, looking to our right arm, bent elbow, fingertips under the cheek, left arm by your side. Bottom muscles soften, heels rolling out. Very gently breathe in, lift that right arm up. Take it up into the air, twist through the back a little bit if you can, look over your shoulder, look to that elbow, float down. It might not be a very high lift. If it's too much for your neck, then you look down to the floor. Make sure you're fully rested down. So for me that was one move. I'm just going to rest here. I'm going to breathe a couple of times before I go up again. It's very strong and you want to watch everything that's going on and you want to do it with the breath. So I'll breathe in, float up. Might just change the angle of my head if I need to. If it's too much my neck or my shoulder, I might leave my head down on the floor and just lift the elbow I might push up into the hand, leave the hand on the floor. Rest, float down, soften into the floor, let everything go. Opposite shoulder, chest relaxed. So I'm only on my third one. Breathing in, twisting, feeling everything rotate if you can. Slow it down, there's no rush. You want to feel that rotation. You want to investigate, you're not just going straight up and down. Don't let your neck hurt. If it is, look to the floor. Breathing in, floating that right side up. Twisting through my back a little bit. Be mindful, we haven't done all the twisting stuff yet, but we have done a lot of diagonal, so it should be okay-ish. You might find you don't go as high as you would in our classes because we haven't done all the other stuff we would do normally. Last one, breathing in, coming down gently. When you get back down to the floor, rest your arms wherever you want to. A couple of breaths doing nothing. And then we're going to go back to that move and we're going to do it with our leg lift on the opposite leg. If you can't lift the leg, just squeeze the bottom muscles and let them soften gently as you bring the upper body down. So we're just going to do 4. Breathing in, lifting, squeezing the bottom, lifting the leg, making sure nothing's hurting. Being aware that your back of your leg switched on. Float down gently, gently, gently. Rest everything down. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Let the bottom muscles go slowly. Check that your chest muscles have softened down into the ground. Your head's fully rested down, your elbow, before you go again. Remember, you might have modified your upper body, you might just be squeezing the bottom, not lifting the leg. I've only done 2, see if you can slow it right down. So I'm just about to do my last one. And you've done your last one, rest wherever you're comfortable. Usual, few breaths doing nothing. 2 at the least, then come to the other side. Right arm by your side. Look into your left elbow if you can. If you can't, look down to the floor. Fingertips under your forehead or your nose or your cheek. And then either pushing into the hand, lifting up, looking over your shoulder, or lifting the whole of the left side, breathing in as you do so. Leave the leg out of it to start with. Float down gently. Keep looking all the time, asking yourself what's going on, watching what's going on in your lower back, what's going on in your shoulders, in your neck. Make sure your neck's not over twisted. You can change the angle. It doesn't have to be looking fully down at the floor. It doesn't have to be looking fully over your shoulder. Keep your eyes closed. Let both chest muscles relax. Chest muscles, sides of the chest. So I'm going to do one more on this side. So we turn to the right leg and we lift the right leg at the same time as lifting the left side of the body. If you can't lift it, squeeze the bottom. Might be enough to just explore the buttock muscles lengthening or being in your control. In your own time, up and down gently, slowly, slowly. On my third one, just lowering down, slowly, slowly, slowly. When you've done your last one, rest your head on your hands or bring your arms up or have them by side, wherever's comfortable for you. So we're going to slowly come over onto our backs. We're going to do our reaching move. So bring your knees up straight away, have them up. We'll see how happy our back muscles are to soften and reach. So arms above the chest, parallel, facing inwards, hands, palms facing each other. Soften the wrists, soften the fingers, reach the right arm up to the ceiling. Bring it back down again, soften it back down into the floor. Do the same on the left. Make sure it's fully down, reach up into the sky. Feel the chest muscles. After that back move, your shoulder blades should be feeling pretty good. Mine are quite loose now. They're quite happy to reach up to the ceiling, which is what I wanted to see if this would make a difference, and it definitely has. So that's good. So reaching up to the ceiling, breathing in as you go up as high as you can. Feeling what happens to the shoulder blades, how the arms feel, how the chest feels. If you're reaching really high, let the neck tilt. So let it tilt towards the opposite shoulder, the shoulder that's on the ground. Let the chin tilt. So I can get some good reaching with this. So I'm going to, because it's going to start moving into my waist, I'm going to let my head tilt with this movement. It's already translating down into the back because of those movements that we just did, which is great. Sometimes it takes a while because we just come out of the arch and curl going to this. So once you feel it translating down into your back a bit, along your back, then start reaching across the room as you reach up. It's like you're reaching towards the other hand, over the top of the other hand. And feel that in the lower back, in the waist, side of the body, rib cage. And then you can start making that rotation a bit more. You can let the other arm just move out of the way. Come back to where you started. Opposite direction, let the head still come with you. So your pelvis is staying square to the floor, it's not tilting over. It's just your reaching arm, your waist, your lower back, your abdominal muscles. Feel the abdominal muscles engaging. I've started doing the 5 Tibetans, which are great yoga moves, and my abdominal muscles know about it, so I can really feel the muscles that are targeted in this move. They're shortening as I twist diagonally, and then they're lengthening across the front. So let your waist roll, let that other lower arm come down to the floor if it needs to reach across. And that will lengthen into those chest muscles that have just tightened up into the air. So we're not pushing into the foot and lifting up, we're just trying to keep this about the waist and the shoulders and the back and the abdominal muscles. I'm going to do 2 more on each arm. So bringing the arms down gently, you've just played into the lengthening of the shoulder blades from the move that we did on our front. So bringing the legs down, bringing the arms down, softening down into the floor. Just think about how different that felt to maybe doing it in class usually, when we just come straight out of a arch and curl and go into that movement. Might have been harder to do the back lift, but it helped you to do that one. Breathing in a couple of times, breathing out, doing nothing. Bringing the legs up gently when you've done that. Bringing the right thigh over the left thigh, just hooking it over, let the calf dangle. And then we'll gently take both legs down to the left side, so onto the left hip. Very gently, feel it in your bottom. Notice where it affects your bottom muscles. Don't worry too much about the waist at the moment. Might need to spread your arms out a little bit just to anchor you. If it starts going over quite a long way, you might need to anchor the right shoulder and look to that right shoulder. But in the meantime, we're just looking at how it feels through the bottom side of the leg, inner thighs, just the lower part of the body, the pelvis. Don't worry about the waist like we did with the shoulders in the last move. We'll look at the waist last, the lower back and the abdomen. We just want to make sure it feels okay doing this to the lower part through the legs, the bottom, the sacrum, the inner thighs. Make sure you soften back and rest down into the neutral position where you started every time you come back. Breathe in, we're tilting onto the edge of the left foot, taking the right foot down to the floor, towards the floor. It might never get there. Might do when we start looking at the waist. So once you've got an idea of how your bottom feels, how everything feels through the side of the leg, that it's okay, the hip's okay, front of the pelvis is okay, then you can start thinking about your lower back, breathing into the waist, feeling the lengthening, starting at the bottom, going into the lower back, the waist, up to the rib cage, into the right shoulder, how it feels to twist around the waist. And just taking that slowly, coming back, settling the pelvis back square, and then going, it's not square because of the knees over, but you know what I mean, back to where it started, the sacrum flat to the floor almost. Breathe in as you go over, turn your head to the left side or to the right, depending on how you're feeling. You need a lot of anchoring, turn it to the right. Be a stronger movement through the waist, so just be mindful of that. Make sure everything through the legs is switched off when you come back to the centre before you go again. I'm going to do 2 more. And then I'm going to take that leg down gently, lengthen both the legs down, let go. Couple the rest doing nothing. And then we'll go to the other side. So left thigh over right thigh. Remember to move your feet away if it's too strong in the hips. If you can't do this, just stick the knees together, the ankles together, and just take the legs down to the side we're going to. And you can make it stronger by stacking the feet up on top of the edges of each feet. If it gets stronger, remember it's about the bottom, the pelvis at the moment, not the waist. You'll know that it's the waist, but we're not looking at the waist. I mean, your waist should be nice and loose really from the other stuff, but it's the bottom we want to make sure of at this angle because of it being forced over. And the lower pelvis is all right. I have to check that my right side's okay. So if this is your trauma side on the right and you're rolling onto it, then have that awareness that it's not hurting you, and don't go any further into it if it is. So look around the legs, bottom, back of the legs, inner thighs that they're switching off when you come back. And then start looking at the waist, what's going on in the back, breathing into the back, the abdomen, twisting the head if you need to, anchoring the left shoulder if you need to, going onto the edge of the right foot. Keep the jaw soft, keep breathing, breathe in as you go to the side. Going to do 2 more on this side. Unravel your legs gently when you've finished. Lengthen the legs down. Soften into the floor. What time are we on? Oh, we've got lots of time. Soft, 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 doing nothing. Oh, nice. So we're going to bring our left knee up. Leave our right leg long. We're going to leave our left arm by the side of the body and the bent knee side, quite close to the body. And then we're going to slide our right arm along the floor past 90 degrees up to the corner of the room. So your hands facing into the corner of the room. Then we're going to breathe in and we're going to reach that arm away. If you can't do this, if you can't do this, taking this arm up this high, because you've got shoulder issues or the side of the body's not happy, or neck or whatever's going on that right shoulder, then have it by your side like the other side and reach the shoulder up to the ear every time I say to reach the arm away, and then slide it back down, slide the head back to the middle. The rest of us are going to reach that right arm away, look towards it, turning the chin to the shoulder and then coming back to the centre, bring the arm back. Should feel nice and loose and soft after all the other work we've been doing around the shoulders. Reach it away gently, breathing in. Feel that lengthening along the right side already. Should be very aware of it after all the waist movements we've been doing. Leave that arm where it is. If you're just using your shoulder, just keep it back down to neutral, and then reach that right arm down towards your foot. A nice squeeze into the waist. Turn the chin to that shoulder or that side of the body. Make sure your neck's okay. Both sides. 3 times. We just want to investigate how everything feels before we start doing the oppositional stuff. rest that shoulder down, reach that right arm away, and then just going from side to side. Reach the right arm away, reach the left arm down. Breathe in as you go to the side, breathe out as you come back to the centre. Feel how that helps you expand up into the chest to reach that arm away a bit further. Make sure you come to a neutral point in the middle. Everything's rested before you go to the other side. Get used to doing that. Don't try to swing just pendulum things in your neck side to side. Make sure everything's come back to neutral and soften before you go again. From now on, every time we reach an arm, we're going to push into the foot, send the knee forward, lift the bottom. However much that is, it might be little movement, it might be a great big movement. If you're struggling to do it, move your foot forward on the mat, move it down the mat. Breathe in as you reach away. Some of you might push into the foot first and then reach the arm. Some of you might reach the arm and then push into the foot. You might end up tilting right over onto that right hip. As you breathe down into the belly and send the knee forward and lift the bottom up. My left side is quite happy, so it goes quite high. Just make sure nothing's hurting as you squeeze into the lower back, or squeeze the shoulder blade down, or when you're coming back down to earth. With the bottom, make sure it's fully softened, the back of the legs fully let go. You're not pushing into the foot still before you go to the other side. Don't just bounce back down and bounce up again. I'm going to do one more on each side. Remember, bouncing might indicate you've gone too high if you can't control a movement. When you've done your last round, bring your shoulders back to where they started, arms by your side, bring that leg down. Soften into the floor, let go. And then swap to the other side when you're done. Bring the right knee up. Foot might be in line with the other knee. Bring your right arm by your side, close to the side so you can reach down, and then slide that left arm up. If this is a trauma shoulder, then just keep it by your side and you'll lift the shoulder up towards your ear. It doesn't have to get to the ear. If your arm is out above you, higher than your shoulder, and up towards the corner of the room, make sure it's flat on the floor. If it's twisting back or it's sticking up in the air, or you have to bend the elbow in some sort of odd shape to get it to stay on the floor, then take it down a bit. But it's got to be higher than 90. If it's not, then 90 degrees out to the side of the body. If it's not, then bring it by your side. There's no point otherwise. Reaching that arm away, looking towards it, breathing in, or up to the ear. Reach the other one. No, just carry on with that side. Carry on with that side just to investigate how it's feeling, get the brain in touch with that area, let it know what you're doing. Don't want to startle it, show it you're repeating this pattern and it's okay. When you've got a measure of that side, have a little rest and then focus on the other side, on the right side, reaching that arm down. Make sure it's okay to squeeze into the right side. This is my trauma side, as I always say, so I would be mindful of squeezing down into my lower back and my waist. But actually it's absolutely fine because of all the other work we've done today. Once you've got an idea of how that side's moving, turning the neck, turning to look at the shoulder, then start alternating arms gently. Make sure they rest back down on that side before you go to the other side. Try and keep the arms close to the body as you can on the right. See if you can start feeling it in the rib cage, lower down. And then as we did with the other side, when you feel ready, pushing into the foot, sending the knee forward, lifting the bottom as you reach that left arm away. And that's a happy right side. Make sure you come back down to the bottom before you reach again and go up. Everything's softened, your bottom muscles aren't switched on, your lower back, now if you're scrunched into the lower back, you're not still tilted onto the left pelvis. Do 2 more on each side. And when you've done your last one, bring everything back. Lengthen the legs down, let go, soften into the floor, do nothing, sink in. So let's scan. So let's go back to what we did before, one side. You could do both if you want to, it's up to you. You can do both and just compare them, or you do one side at a time, just looking at the whole of one side. Starting at the feet. Once you've had your scan, have a little sink into the floor, let go, do nothing. If you want to stay there doing nothing, stay there doing nothing. If you've got to get up, then wiggle your fingers and your toes. Feel the air, feel the floor. Open your eyes if you need to, or keep them closed so you feel like you want to open them. Bring your knees up gently when you're ready. Roll over onto your side, keep your head down. Have a little rest there. Couple of breaths. When you're ready, pushing up gently. Use your arms. Onto sitting. Get your glasses if you need them. Ta-da! Oh, look at that. That's nice. So, hopefully you enjoyed that. Oh, I've got a nice pink face like I said I would. It's cooled down a bit actually. So that's good. So, I don't know about you, but everything feels nice and loose. Lovely. Feels soft. Soft and gentle. Look at the nice shadows on my face. You're very welcome, Tina, and I'm missing seeing you. And check out yesterday's. You might like yesterday's. I don't know if you saw it. I don't think you did, but have a little look at that. It's trauma reflex as well. So last 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, have been trauma reflex, everybody. So if you like what happened today and it really helped you, then build up on it using some of the moves from the last couple of days. And tomorrow is going to be the same thing, but just a mix up of the things that we've done this week. I might do a side lying waist squeeze as well, because that just would be the ultimate finisher for a week of trauma reflex releasing. And you want to build these things up. You know, once a week is not really enough. You want to keep reminding your body daily to start with, to let the pelvis drop down, let the bottom muscle soften. So and then you could just, you know, once you've got things softening and loosening, your muscles have got that muscle memory, then you don't have to do it every day. All right, so worth investing. All right, my loves, take care. Mwah. See you tomorrow, some of you, hopefully. Remember, you can tell people this is on YouTube, this is staying on here, so you can watch it again. And lots of love. Stay safe.